So let's start. Okay. So welcome everyone on a weekend for a very important session of Complete RPA Developer Foundation series. So the today's main topic that we are going to discuss is going to be what is orchestrator. So as a beginner in RPA, you should definitely have knowledge about what is orchestrator and what are different types of automation that can be done. So in this complete session, me and Priyanka will be covering what is orchestrator, what is attended automation, unattended automation, and along with the demo. Okay. Priyanka, next slide. Okay. So the today's main agenda of the session is what is UiPath Orchestrator, what are different types of automation, and how we can connect UiPath Studio to Orchestrator. So we'll be covering each of these concepts by starting with giving you a brief idea on all the three topics. So first, let's start with what is UiPath Orchestrator. So as you can see, this is the first slides for UiPath Orchestrator. Priyanka, just start the animation. Okay. So what is an orchestrator? So orchestrator is basically a web application developed by UiPath. So now if you see whatever we had covered in this session till now, till the first 5 sessions, we saw that we were running our workflow from UiPath Studio itself. We will build the workflow and we will just click on the run button. But that can't be the same scenario when you are automating business applications or business use cases. At that time, you can't keep a person who will always keep on running the workflow and sit there over continuously all day. So that is why UiPath Orchestrator is used. The main concern of UiPath Orchestrator or the main use is it helps you to schedule your UiPath workflows that you build. So basically, when you automate some business application or a business use case or a business process, say anything. So at that time, to remove the idea of keeping a person and clicking on that run button, we have UiPath Orchestrator. So Orchestrator is basically a web application that enables the management of robots. Robots are basically the workflow that you build, the data to be processed, how your data is to be processed, how it should be executed, how it should be processed while your workflow is running. Maybe suppose you are doing some Excel automation, how the Excel file should be read, written again and again. So that is the main use. Further, execution schedules. So now suppose you want to send some mail every day at 10 p.m. or something like that, 10 a.m. Sorry. So what you can do is you can build a workflow in your UiPath Studio, which will be having maybe a send Outlook, send SMTP or anything. So it will send a mail via email. Now, how to schedule it at every day at morning 10 a.m. So that's where comes the orchestrator, which will help you to schedule your work every day at 10 a.m. Further, going to the next point. Okay. So that was a brief introduction about what is orchestrator. So we understood what is orchestrator, basically how it is used and in what cases it can be used. Now further moving on, it has two types of automation as we can see on the screen. First is unattended automation that we are going to discuss. Now what is, first let us break down this word unattended automation. So automation is basically the workflow we build, the use case we automate or the process we automate. But why it is called unattended? Let's explore that. Priyanka, please. About performs an activity according to a rule-based process. So unattended automation is basically where there is no human involved. Now a bot performs an action according to the rule-based process. So in the first session we saw we had sequence, we had flowchart, and we had state machines. So we developed our workflow according to our requirement. So either we use sequence, either we use Snapchat, not sorry, Snapchat, sorry for that. Either we use flowchart or we use state machine. Okay, so depending on that, we have built our workflow and it is completely rule based. So if this condition is satisfied, this will happen. If this is satisfied, this will happen. So that is the complete rule based process that we have developed. Now, when we put it on orchestrator, there should be no human involved. Priyanka, please, next point. So RPA bots can perform the complex task without human involvement. Now here there will be no human involved in this automation. A let's see that with an example. Next point, please, Priyanka. Data is scraped from a website needs to be entered into a spreadsheet or a database application. So suppose I am doing data scraping, that is my use case that I want to automate. So suppose we are executing a workflow which is scraping the data for iPhone from Flipkart, from Amazon, from Snapdeal, or some other websites. So in that case, what is happening is from my orchestrator, the bot will just start its execution. Once it starts its execution, what it will do is it will automatically go to that website, it will scrape the data, and it will give me the output in an Excel file or maybe in a database wherever I want to enter the data. So in this case, as we saw, the complete automation was executed, but there was no human involved. So another example can be, suppose you want to read five Excel files. Suppose you want to read five Excel files, and after that, what you want to do is you want to find out the common data between the five Excel files. After you find the five Excel files common data, maybe you want to put it into a web form or a web application or something like that. So in that case, that is another example of unattended automation. Now let's move ahead to attended automation. We'll again come back to see what is the difference between both of them. So going towards the first point of attended automation. So as the word suggests, it is going to be complete opposite of what unattended automation is. In unattended automation, there were no human involved, but in attended automation, a human triggers and directs a bot to perform an activity. So here, basically, a human is involved. Even though you are running your bot from the orchestrator, so it will start at a particular time, but there might be some inputs that should be given by a human while the bot is going to be executed. So you can see the second point, RPA bots can perform alongside human to deliver attended automation. So this basically means that RPA along with its automation. So we have developed a workflow in UiPath which is going to automate our process. But along with that, a human is also involved to make sure some inputs are given by the human. Going towards the example of attended automation, attended automation can be performed to find the customer data from one application and write into another during a call. So let's take an example. We are trying to automate an use case of call center. So what we are doing is that process is executing on a system and maybe a customer calls and there are some data to be inputted or something like that. So suppose if I ask the customer his name and he says Parth Doshi. So once he says Parth Doshi, what can be done is the user who is using the workflow or maybe who is running from the orchestrator, he can type Parth Doshi and some operations are being performed at backend. So when that operations are performed, the data is getting updated or something like that. So in that case, attended automation comes into picture. So these are the two main pillars of automation, you can say, unattended and attended automation. Now, going back to the orchestrator slide, Priyanka, can you please go to the orchestrator slide? Oh, so now you can see the previous one. Yeah. Can you just zoom in for the picture which is there, the orchestrator image? Uh-huh. Yeah, just zoom it over here, no problem. Yeah. So as we can see on this slide, we are trying to understand the complete architecture of orchestrator. So you see, when there is a company, there are different organizations, definitely. Or maybe there is one complete organization, and in that there are different departments. You can say like that. So here, as you can see on the image, there is one organization, organization unit 1, organization unit 2, and organization unit 3. But here we are trying to understand only the organization unit 1. Now in unit 1 organization, there are different environments. As you can see, Priyanka is moving the cursor. The first one is the IT environment, then is finance, then there can be HR, or then there can be something else. So we are trying to keep one orchestrator which has different license for different environments and which is executing my different robots. So if you can see, my complete orchestrator is divided into an architecture where there are three organizations, unit 1, 2, and 3. In unit 1, there are two environments you can see, IT and finance. Maybe in unit 2, there can be, okay, Priyanka, we need to zoom it more, I think. there's an option at the bottom. We'll be able to zoom it over there. Is it fine, Mobin, now?
You can put it in presentation mode, Priyanka. Now,
Okay, yeah, looks great now. Okay. So as we can see on the screen, there is one organization, there is second. So in the first organization unit, we are trying to maybe automate the use cases of IT environment, finance environment. In second, we might do something related to HR. In third, we might do something related to administration. So in one company or in one, you can say orchestrator of a company who is using, there can be different organization unit. In that, we have different environments. So in IT environment, we have a test environment. Maybe we might have a development environment. We might have an production environment or something like that. There can be different environments. In IT environment, there can be different use cases. Suppose we are trying to automate some installation part, or else we are trying to automate some use case, you say, where the data needs to be migrated from one system to another. Then in finance environment, we are trying to automate SAP environment. As you can see, robot N to N plus one lies under SAP environment. So that is my one environment. Don't worry, what is this environment organization? Priyanka will be showing you a complete demo on it. So you need not worry about that. But right now, just try to get a complete brief overview about what is orchestrator and how a orchestrator looks within an organization. So as you can see, there is SAP environment, then there is environment 3. Maybe instead of SAP, we are automating some other CRM application of finance. So it's something like that, where an orchestrator can be divided first into different organization, which further can be divided into different environments. Moving forward, it can divide into different robots. As you can see, robot 1, 2, 3 under IT environment, and robot N to N plus 2 under finance environment. So this is how the organization is divided. And later at the end, you can see development environment, which is our final environment where our bot will be getting executed. At the bottom, as you can see, there are attended robot, unattended robot, and UiPath Studio. So these are the concepts that we just understood. Attended robot, which involves attended automation, and unattended robot, which involves unattended automation. So this is how you can see the orchestrator is divided into a complete architecture, starting from orchestrator, moving towards organization, then going towards environment, and then going towards simple robots. Now the robots which will be running, they will be having the process that you have developed. So once you develop your process in your UiPath Studio, you publish it to your orchestrator, wherein you assign a robot to it. So each workflow can be assigned to one robot. That concept also will be explained by a demo. Priyanka will be doing that. But right now we are trying to just understand the theoretical concept. So it's simply like when you develop a UiPath Studio workflow, you just develop the complete workflow and then you publish it. So once you publish it, it is available as a package which can be used in an orchestrator. You can just put the XAML file on the orchestrator. So what you do is you publish it, you give it a proper name which you want to say in the orchestrator, and then what you do is you simply use that package by assigning to a robot, which will further be assigned to an environment, and then further to an organization within an orchestrator. So this is how the complete orchestrator architecture can be understood. Okay, so I think, okay, we'll just do a quick revision of attended and unattended automation as well. Priyanka, just go to the next slide. So again, explaining the unattended automation. So unattended automation is basically, as I said, it does not involve human in the loop. You basically build a workflow which will automatically do the complete task and it will complete its execution. So one more example. Suppose you want to generate the certificates of the participants who were there in the webinar. So suppose considering this workshop as well or this webinar as well, we want to maybe send some certificates at the end of this workshop. I have the list of people in an Excel file which I want to loop through and generate the certificate. So what I will do is I will loop through my Excel file data. I will build a workflow, something like that, which will loop through that Excel file. And then what it will basically do is it will create a PDF for me Maybe we can use the OCR topics that we learned in the previous sessions. And maybe I edit my PDFs and save it with the attendee name. So once I save it, I have the PDFs. Now, if I want to mail them or I want to save them in a drive, anything like that, I can do that further kind of automation. So this is another example. Another example of unattended automation can be considering a banking use case where I have a data in which there are the names of the customers or names of the customers, you can say, who haven't submitted some of their documents, and we also have their mail ID. So what we can do is we can take that list of the documents which they haven't submitted, and then we can send them a mail like, please do submit this document to avoid the closure of your bank account. So this is one more example of unattended automation that it can be understood. Going to now attended automation. So attended automation, another use case can be, so suppose what we are trying to do is we are trying to again take some input from the user while the automation is being executed. So what we can think of is like inventory management using UiPath. So what we can consider in this particular scenario is, suppose I'm entering some product name of which I want to see all the details, maybe what is the stock left or something like that. So in that case, I need to type the product name. It won't automatically predict what I want to see or which products data I want. So what it will do is basically it will tell me that please enter the product name that you want the data for. So once I type the product name, it will performs it automation, maybe get the data from Excel file, maybe get the data from SQL database or something like that. It will get the data for me and it will display the data maybe in some other way to me. So that is also an example of attended automation. So I hope you got a clear understanding of what is orchestrator, what are the different types of automation in that. Now, as we all know, understanding the theoretical concept is not just enough. We need to understand it practically. So now my friend Priyanka will show you a practical implementation of whatever concepts we have seen till now. So I hand over the session to you, Priyanka. And if any doubts, you all can keep posting in the chat section.
Thank you so much, Parth, for such an amazing information about orchestrator, attended and unattended automation. So you gave almost all example or many example related to attended and unattended automation. So let's start. So before heading towards the demonstration part, I would like to show you, how we can connect our orchestrator with machine, and we will run our automation from the orchestrator. So as of now, from the beginning of this series, we were running our workflow in Studio, right? So in this session, what we are going to do, we will be connecting our machine with orchestrator, and we'll be running our workflow from the orchestrator. So before moving on to the connection part, I want you to become familiar with some components of orchestrator, so that whenever I'll be referring to that particular components, so you should have understanding of these component, right? So these are the key components of UiPath orchestrator. We can say that there are a lot many, but these are the key components and required for the connection with machine. So first of all is machine. So with the help of machine, we can connect UiPath robot and orchestrator. So UiPath robot on which automation runs, and orchestrator through which we trigger our automation. Okay. So then comes the robot. So it is execution host that run the processes built in Studio. Then comes the environment. So we have seen that, right? Parth has explained you about environments. There can be a lot of environments in the organization. So it's basically grouping of a robot that is used to deploy the processes. And we can add the robot to one or more environment. As we can see that there was IT section and finance section, and we have added like 2 to 3 robots or many robots to the particular environment. So again, example, let's say suppose there are banking and finance. So we can create a different environment for each of the domain, and we can assign the set of robots to particular environment. So while running, we just need to, assign the robot. We have already assigned the robot to the environment. So we just need to, select the environment and run the processes. Then comes the package. So package consists of one or more automation workflow published from the studio. So they can be published on local machine or directly to the orchestrator. So in upcoming demo, we'll see how we can publish a package from studio directly to the orchestrator. And also we'll see how we can publish a package on a local machine and then upload to the orchestrator. The next component is process. So process is the association between package and the environment. So if the main.xml file has a suppose in out and in out arguments, so we can view and configure our from the process component of the orchestrator. So we'll also see how we can provide the arguments and how we can run the process by providing the argument to it from the orchestrator. So once the process is created in the orchestrator, its execution can be triggered in three ways. So one is job, with job, sorry. So we can simply start a job for execution. Then comes the trigger, which is nothing but a schedule. So we can create a schedule for particular process at a specific time, and then it will automatically trigger the process. And the third one is from the UiPath assistant. So it is basically a part of attended automation. So that's all about the component of orchestrator. And there are a lot many components. So if you want to explore more about the orchestrator, so you can go and check out the RPA UiPath Academy. So over there, you'll find a separate course for orchestrator. So we can say that it is basically a heart of a UiPath RPA platform. So this was all about the concepts. So let's see how we can connect our robot with orchestrator. So to do that, we need to go to the platform.uipath.com. So this is the URL. So as Parth said, this is the web application. And once you navigate to the platform.uipath.com, you can see the service, different services, but initially you will see only one default service, and you can select any service. And this is how it looks like. So you can find a tenant over here. You can see the components that I talked about, robot, folders, users. So there are a lot many. I just shown you the few of the components. So to connect our robot with robot or with orchestrator, what we need to do first, we need to go to tenant level, and then we need to go to machine. So first step is to create a or provision a machine. Okay, so how we can do that? There are a standard machine. We can create a standard machine, or we can provision a machine with a machine template. So for now, I'm just selecting a standard machine. So now I have to provide the machine name over here. So from where I'll get it the machine name? To do that, I'll just navigate to UiPath Assistant. I'm opening it. I'm going to this user button, going to preferences, going to orchestrator settings and selecting the machine key. And from here, I'm getting the machine name. So which is your machine name, okay? And I'm going to paste it over here and clicking on provision. So you can see that machine has been created successfully, and you can see the type, which is standard, okay? So our machine has been created. So now next step is to create a robot. To do that, we need to navigate to the default folder. And in this, you can find the robot section, and you have to create a robot from here. Again, there are two kinds of robot. in terms of machine interaction. So one is standard and other one is floating. So standard robot is nothing but works on a single machine, and it is a good choice when the machine, is not going to change. And floating machine, it will works on any machine which is defined in the orchestrator, and it will change. I mean, it will, depending on the, suppose we are working on the shift, so we work on different machine, right? So that time it is a good choice. So let's create a standard machine as of now. So from here we need to select a machine which just we have created. We can give any name to our robot. So let's provide Chitti, let's say. Then we can select a type. So there are a lot many type. So as of now, I'm going to select unattended, because this type of a robot, we can trigger any automation like attended and unattended automation from the orchestrator. So you can always explore by selecting this type of a robot and check how it runs or how it works. Okay. So now again, domain or username I have to provide. So from where I'll get it, I just need to go to CMD, type who am I. So this is my username or domain. I need to copy, paste it here, and let's click create. So you can see that our robot has been created, and you can see the machine name, you can see the type, which is unattended. But you can see that there is no any environment, or you can see that the status is disconnected, right? So what we have to do now, the next step is to assign the robot to particular environment. Okay. So to do that, first we need to create environment. So we need to navigate to this section, click create or add. We can give name, let's say Chitti 2.0. Let's click create. And now we can see that the robot is, mentioned over here that we have just created. So we have to select a robot. So you can get a list of all the robots that you have in your orchestrator. So as of now, I have only one. So I'm selecting this. So this is how you can group your robot to the particular environment. So let's click on update. Now, if you go back to the robot, you can see that the environment assigned to this particular robot, which is this one. But you can see the status is still disconnected, right? So the next step is to connect our robot. So how we can connect? To do that, we have to go to tenant. We have to go to machine. And from here, we need to copy the machine key to the clipboard. So we have copied the key here. Now, where we need to paste this key? So the answer is in UiPath Assistant. So we need to paste it here. Now, if you can see that machine name is automatically available here, and we have pasted the machine key, but we need to paste or give the orchestrator URL as well. So to give the orchestrator URL, I am navigating to orchestrator. So this is your base URL, let's say cloud.uipath.com. And this is your account name, and this is your tenant name. So till here, you have to provide as an orchestrator URL in the UiPath Assistant. And you can see that the status of in the UiPath Assistant is offline, right? So when I click connect, let's see what happens. It is connected and licensed. So our robot has already connected with orchestrator. Let's check in the orchestrator. Let's go back to the tenant, or we can check it from robot section only. Yeah. So you can see the status is available now, right? So our robot is ready and connected. So we have seen the component or concepts of UiPath Orchestrator. We have seen that how we can connect the machine with orchestrator. So we have just made the connection, right? But we have not run any workflow or automation with the help of orchestrator. Okay, so in upcoming session or in upcoming demo, we are going to run. Okay, so the next slide is attended versus unattended automation. So Parth has already introduced us what is attended and unattended automation. So to add what Parth has said with real world example of attended and unattended automation is, for attended automation, for example, when we call a customer support, right? So when you call any customer support, let's say any company or to any bank, right, for your issue, it will ask you to enter some input, like press 1 for this service, press 2 for this service, right? And we enter it, and we accordingly we get it done. Okay, so this is what attended automation, where human input is needed. The next one is unattended automation. So for example, when we go on leave, we customize a mail, right? And set it as an automatic reply. So whenever we get any email from the sender, so that sender get the email of automatic reply of a leave, right? So here we are enjoying our leave and not giving any, trigger or not giving any input to the automatic reply. So this is unattended automation. So we have seen this attended and unattended automation real world example. So let's move ahead and see the demo of this attended and unattended automation. So for demo purpose, in my previous series or previous session of the series, I have shown you the API automation, right? So in that process, I was providing a city name, and my workflow was fetching the weather data of that particular city with the help of API. So you might seen the demo or seen the, that session, so you could remember. So can you tell me, or can anybody tell me what type of automation was that? Like, getting a, providing a city name, and according to the city, so my workflow or my process will provide me a weather detail. Correct. So it is a attended automation. Why? Because it was asking us to provide the city name. So whenever we are providing the city name, it was giving the output, right? Correct, Manisha. So let's let's run for those who is new to this session or new to this part, so that they can understand. So you can see that it is allowing me to enter the city name. So I'm entering, let's suppose, Pune, clicking OK. And this is, I'm getting the temperature of Pune. Okay. So I'm not going to explain you the workflow in detail, or not going to create any workflow in this session or in this part, because our concern is to understand orchestrator, because we have seen the studio part and we are designing or developing our workflows from the beginning, right? So the today's topic is all about orchestrator. So I'm not going to create the workflow. So I'm going to utilize this workflow as attended automation only. So I'll just explain you quickly. So it is asking the input of a city, then it is giving the city name to the HTTP request activity. So HTTP request activity is used to call an API, and it is getting the weather data of the particular city, and so we are getting the data in particular variable, and we are converting that from Kelvin to Celsius, and we are just printing it. So this was the uh, attended automation. So we have run this from the studio. So what we'll do, we will publish this and we will run it from the orchestrator this time. Okay, so let's see. Now, I have already told you we can publish the package or publish our workflow in two ways. So let's see one way and let's see another way in upcoming demo. So for first way or for first how we can publish. So let's to publish our workflow, we need to click on publish button. So it will allow you only when your workflow is not having any error. So if you have any error in your workflow, it will not allow you to publish your workflow to the orchestrator. Okay. So you can see that package properties, you can see the package name, package version, and publish option you can see, right? So we can always select orchestrator. So then it will directly upload your package or publish your package to the orchestrator, because we have already connected our orchestrator with machine, right? So it will directly connect or directly upload or publish the package from here to orchestrator. So let's click on publish. And you can see that published successfully. Okay. So let's go to orchestrator. And now where you can see the package which we have published from the studio. To do that, we have to go to tenant, we have to go to package. And you can see that a few seconds ago, attended automation we have published. If you go to more action view version, you can see that the status of this package. So there are two status, active and inactive. So it is inactive. Why? Because we have not created a process or we have not activated it yet, right? So how we can activate it? To do that, I'll close this. I'll go to default folder. I'll go to automation, then process. So we need to create process. So let's click on add button. Select the package name that we have just published. And you can see the package version. So as of now, we have only one version. So if you update again or upload, publish it again, so you will find the another version as well. So you can select any version. If you want to make any changes, you can make a changes, you can publish again, and you can see the multiple version of particular package. Now environment. So we can select any environment. So as of now, I have only one. So I'm selecting this. Job priority. So job priority is nothing but when we prioritize any particular automation on another automation. So we can use the priority and we can get it done on priority basis. Okay. So input and output value. So we'll see in upcoming demo how we can utilize this. So as of now, we don't have any input output values. So just not look into this. And let's click create. So you can see that the process has been created. Now we have to start it, right? We have to trigger it. So how we can trigger? We can either trigger from here, start a job, or we can go to job and we can start. We can select the process name and we can select a robot on which it is run. Let's click on start. So you can see that it is running. It is asking me to enter a city name. Let's say Mumbai this time. And here it is. Your output is here. So temperature of Mumbai is this. Okay. So this was the attended automation. So we have seen what is attended automation, where the human intervention is needed, and how we can run the attended automation from the orchestrator. So let's see what is unattended automation. So in the previous session, somebody asked me like how we can fetch the weather details for multiple city. I don't know who was he or she, but then I'm going to use or I'm going to show you the same example for unattended automation. So here what we are going to do, we are going to use one Excel sheet in which there is a list of a city, and for this city we are going to fetch the temperature or weather details for with the help of unattended automation. Okay, so what bot will do, it will read the Excel file, it will read each and every city, and it will pass the city to HTTP request. Okay, and this HTTP request will call API, and it will fetch the temperature data of that particular city. And once we get the temperature value, we are again updating in the Excel sheet in this column. Okay, so first of all, I will run from the studio so that you can get the understanding of it. So you can see that within very less time, within 2 seconds, it has updated the temperature value for just 4 cities. So what I'm going to do now, this time we'll run this workflow, same workflow from the orchestrator. So now we have seen how we can publish a process from the studio to orchestrator by using one way, right? So I'm going to show you another way. So to do that, I'm clicking on publish button. And now this time, instead of selecting orchestrator tenant process feed, I'm going to select custom. And what it is going to do, it is going to save this particular package to my local machine. Let's say desktop in this case, in our case, right? So we can also select the folder from here as well. So I'm going to click on publish. So now this time our package is published successfully to my desktop, and you can see the location as well, right? So let's go back to the desktop, and you can see the unattended automation package, which is NUPKG file. That means when you create a workflow in Studio, in UiPath Studio, your extension, your file extension would be .xml file. But when you publish a package or publish a process, then your extension becomes NUPKG file. So orchestrator takes the NUPKG file and run it. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to upload this package to orchestrator. Earlier what we have done, we have directly uploaded a package to the orchestrator. How? Because our robot and orchestrator was connected. And this time, to upload a package, we are going to tenant, we are going to package, and we are going to click on upload button, and we are selecting the NuGet package and click open. Let's click upload, and you can see that unattended automation has been uploaded as a package. Now to run this package, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to process. I'm going to create another process for unattended automation. I'm going to, already selected version, environment. I'm just going to create it. And this time we are not going to job and not going to trigger. So from here only I will trigger it. So you can see that there is no any temperature value, right? So let me see which is, unattended automation. So we are going to start the job. So start the job by selecting a robot. And click start. So you can see that we got the temperature value for all the cities, right? So this is how we can, run the automation, attended and unattended automation. This is how we can create in UiPath Studio. This is how we can publish to the orchestrator, and we can run it from the orchestrator. So till now, what we have seen the components of UiPath Orchestrator, key components, how we can connect, how we can create attended and unattended automation, what is the difference between these two, how we can publish the package in two different ways, how we can run the automation from the orchestrator, how we can create process, how we can trigger a job, right? So now this time, what we can see, so we are going to see how we can provide argument to any particular process and how we can run it from the orchestrator. So to do that, I'm going to go to new process. Let's say hello world. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a sample process in which it will take one input argument. So input argument is, we have already learned in previous session, right? So we will be creating input argument and will publish this process to orchestrator, and from there we'll pass the argument value and it will run that particular process. Okay, so to create the workflow, what we are going to do, we are just simply dragging a message box activity here, and in this message box, let's say good afternoon, and we will create one arguments, let's say input argument, and let's say name. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass the input argument here. So what it will do, it will print good afternoon and in name. So what will be the value of in name? We will provide from the orchestrator. So our workflow is ready. Let's publish it directly to the orchestrator. So package is published successfully. Let's go to the orchestrator, go to package, and you can see the package is available. Somebody saying something? Okay. Yeah, so our package is ready. Okay. So we have to trigger this package. So how we can trigger it? Go to default folder, go to automation, create one process, select the hello world process that we have just published. And now this time we have to provide the input argument. So you can see that we have created the input argument, and you can see the in argument present in this parameter section. And from here we can dynamically update the name of this particular parameter. So suppose I'm going to say Priyanka. So what would it will print? Good morning, good afternoon, Priyanka. So let's save this. And anytime you can change the value of this particular parameter, and it will take this parameter and it will run your workflow. So let's click on create. So the process has been created. Let's trigger a job. And let's start. So you can see that good afternoon, Priyanka. But what I want to do is now, instead of Priyanka, I want some another name. Okay. So to do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the same process, and sorry, we need to create a process again. And this time, instead of giving a Priyanka as a name value, I'm going to give Parth. Who is talking? Please go on mute. Thank you. So this time I'm giving a Parth as a name. So click save, click create. Make sure. So it's already created. So let's delete it. Let's click hello world. Let's provide a name as a Parth. Save it. Click create. Yeah. And if I start the job, you can see good afternoon, Parth. So this is how we can provide a dynamic value, and this is how you can provide your input arguments or parameter to the process, and you can trigger your workflow. Now, the next example or next demo is for trigger or schedule, right? So we've seen that we are manually triggering our workflow. But what if we want our workflow to be triggered automatically by orchestrator? Is it possible? Yes. So we can do it with the help of trigger. So for example, to do that, to trigger our job, what we need to do, we need to create a trigger. So how we can create a trigger? Click add. So we can create a trigger for any particular process based on a time or when the item got added to the queue. So what is queue? This is the exercise or homework for you to identify what is queue. Okay, so you can always find this in Academy. So you go to the Academy and go through the UiPath Orchestrator course. You can see that there are a lot of course related to orchestrator, updates, platform. Okay, then orchestrator for developer, you can go through it. So you'll get to know what is queue and how we can trigger a process when item got added to queue. So let's give any name, let's say demo, and we can select the time as well. Okay, and let's select the process, and we can set the time as well here. So let's say hourly for, for every hour, for daily. Then we can select, as of now we can select for every minute, and we can execute this particular trigger, or we can say that process for all the robots. If we select all the robot, it will work or it will execute on all the robot. If we select specified robot, it will allow us to select the robot, right? So we can do that. Click add. So our trigger will get added, and this is how you can add a trigger. You can create a trigger, and you can configure your process, and so that it will run for that particular time on a specific time. So you don't need to go and manually need to run any process. So it will automatically trigger your execution. Okay. So if we click on start a job now, it will start it right now, and otherwise it will start for every minute. Also, we can disable if we don't want a trigger to be, live, or we don't want this trigger. So you can see that it has triggered the process hello world by default or by its own. So let's click OK. So I don't want to run on the every minute. What I'm going to do, I'm going to simply disable it. So this is how we can disable our, trigger, and we can also enable it again. No issues in that. So guys, that's all from my side. In this session, Parth already told you about the detail of orchestrator. He explained you of about what is attended and unattended automation, and he gave you the lot of example of it, right? And then we have seen what is the real world example of attended and unattended automation. We have seen the key components of UiPath orchestrator. Then we have, run the demo of attended and unattended automation from the orchestrator. We have published the packages by using two ways, one from, directly to orchestrator, and another from we just downloaded to local machine, and then we have uploaded to orchestrator. Then we have seen that how we can run the process with the help of argument or by passing the argument dynamically. And then we have seen that how we can trigger or schedule our process to run at a particular time. So that's all for my that's all from my side. Thank you for joining this session and thank you for your time. Thanks a lot.
So guys, if you have any specific question, you can now unmute and ask.
Great, great practical implementation, Priyanka. Great practical implementation.
Thank you, Parth. I hope this will be helpful. And guys, please go to UiPath Academy. There are a lot of details are there, and orchestrator is not the topic we can cover in 1 hour. So it is dynamic. You can explore so many things. So you just go to the
Exactly.
academy and practice it.
Exactly. I think I answered quite a few questions already in the chat, but if anyone still has any questions, they can please ask.
Thanks, Mehul.
Yeah, recording will be available after 2 hours in the same event page.
Thanks, Ravi. Is anybody having any questions?
Can we make a bot for Android?
Android? Uh, but we can run the bot from Android.
Yeah, yeah. So guys, we also have the UiPath Orchestrator app as well. So if you all want to execute some bot while you are somewhere else and you want to just execute it through Orchestrator, if it is hosted like as Priyanka showed, you all can definitely do that through your mobile phones.
Yes, yes, Manish. So we don't need any, any studio or orchestrator to run the bot or any process. What you can do, what you need is only UiPath Assistant. So if you have a UiPath Assistant, you can trigger your process. Thank
Hi,
you.
Parth and Priyanka. I'm Mehul here.
Who is there?
Yeah, I'm Mehul here. I have one question.
Yes, Mehul, yes.
Yes. So, I was trying Google Dialog yesterday. So
Your voice
I
is not clear, Mohil.
are you getting my voice now? Hello. Are you
There's
getting
lot
my
of disturbance.
voice? Is this clear now? Hello.
Yes.
Bala, uh, sorry to interrupt, but Bala, if your machine is not connected with the internet, so this is difficult to publish the package directly to the orchestrator because it is a web application, right? So what you can do, you can publish the package to local machine, and whenever you get the internet connectivity, you can upload it to the orchestrator. That is simple. So we have seen the second way, right? So you can do it like that. Yeah, yes, Mehul, you can continue.
Okay. So if someone is making or creating the bot using the other tools apart from your,
Your voice is not clear.
I really don't know. Let me ask on the chat.
Yeah, sure, you can ask. Uh, so Mobeen, it depends on what you want to do in virtual machine. So simply you want to run your workflow or process, you can simply have UiPath Assistant, okay, in your virtual machine. But if you are developing and you are, executing your workflows, then you should have a studio. And if you're using the queue and a set of orchestrator, then you should have orchestrator 2. So it's depend.
Yeah, Priyanka, you mean to say that suppose if I'm using the virtual machines for execution purpose, then only UiPath assistance should be required in those virtual machines, right?
Right. Because we can trigger execution, but you should have the file to execute, and you can execute. Because let me show you. Suppose okay, assistant is open here only. You can see that whatever we have triggered from the orchestrator, you can find it in the assistant, right? So I can simply trigger it from here. I don't need to do anything. Okay, so why it has just printing a good afternoon? Why it is not printing any name, Priyanka or Parth? Because we have not provided any input arguments. But if we, let's say, run attended automation from here, you can see that, right? Let's say Pune, and you are getting the temperature of Pune, right? So we can also run the workflow or process from here as well. So whenever because it is connected with orchestrator, right? So it is getting the list of processes and showing it to you. And also we can set up a reminder from here as well. So it is works like a trigger. Isn't it wonderful?
Okay, so
Obviously.
let's take the doubt of Mehul. If anyone created bot using Google Dialogflow or from another tool, can we use UiPath to publish attended? So Mehul, are you asking like if we have a bot developed in Google Dialogflow, can we execute a UiPath bot from there? It's that, what's your question?
Vice versa.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. It's vice versa. It's
It's vice versa. So you are saying from UiPath you want to execute a Google Dialogflow.
Yeah, or Google Dialogflow can be, if I created a bot using the Google Dialogflow, can I publish it using the Google UiPath? I'm just asking the random person. I don't know.
Right. No. See, I don't think that is possible, the vice versa situation. But as we know, like UiPath has integration with Google Dialogflow and now with Druid Chatbot as well. So you can do that thing if you have a workflow of UiPath. You can maybe execute them through your Dialogflow or through your Druid Chatbot. But the opposite way, I don't think that's possible.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Okay, there is a question on chat.
Can we integrate bot? Yes, Mobin, we can integrate. Yeah, there is a CI/CD integration available in UiPath.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any questions?
You can check, Mobin, you can check the UiPath docs.uipath.com for CI/CD integration. You can find the document, how you can do it. Let me see if I'm getting a document for it. Let me check.
Can you come back once again, Priyanka, where you mentioned like UiPath.docs, docs.uipath.com.
Wait, I'm pinging you.
Okay.
also the website which has just Priyanka sent in the chat, docs.uipath.com. Guys, here you all can get information about each and every activity, each and every different integrations available in UiPath. So whatever you are looking for, how to learn it from scratch or anything like that, you can go to docs.uipath.com and you will get a complete information about the set of activities, as well as you can get the similar course on academy.uipath.com.
And also you want to try a hands-on, you can refer this website like docs.uipath.com/studio/doc/tutorials. So where you can find all the tutorials example, like practical assignment, you can download from there as well, and you can try it on your machine. So whatever we have taught you till the beginning, what we have shown you, you can find it each and every topic over there. Is anybody having any question?
Yeah, Priyanka, it's not related to our session, but I have a generic question related to the UI part. Can I go ahead and ask you?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Yeah, so there is an onboarding process where we'll be connecting to the server using Putty. So UiPath and the combination with Putty is working. I have so many sites as well that it is going to support it. But here, when I say Putty, it's not like entering the commands, getting the output. It's like when we connect to the server, so we get a mainframe application type scenario where we have some menus. The commands will be there where we need to. So is it also we can handle using UiPath?
Yes, Mobeen. We can also handle, or we can also perform a mainframe automation with the help of UiPath, and we have a set of activities who can interact with a mainframe application, and yeah, it works. It works for mainframe application. Just that, let me check any document we are getting for a mainframe.
And Mubin, in a Bangalore chapter, we had done one session on mainframe application automation. So you can just go and see the past event. You may find the recording also.
Okay, that's good. That's helpful for me.
Thank you, Bala. So if anybody having any questions, otherwise we can wrap up. Okay.
Mubin, I just pasted the link. You can check out the recording here.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Vibha.
And don't forget to join next session on Thursday. So it will be based on RE framework. And this is the important part while you working in RPA or working with UiPath. So at an industry level, we have to know what is RE framework and how it works when you work on real-time projects, because this is we have shown you from the scratch, and now we can see how we can approach, or how we can see the approach of industry level processes in the next session. So don't forget to join on Thursday.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I think we can wrap up.
Yeah, sure. Yes, we were.
Okay, great.
Thanks everyone for joining, and hope you guys are completing your diploma on Academy as well.
Right.
Okay, bye. Enjoy your weekend. Bye everyone.
Happy weekend, guys. Thank
Everyone
you.
for attending. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for the session. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Mobin. Bye.
Thanks, Mobeen.